Welcome to the podcast playground, where the podcasts come to play. Today we have endless topics, so and they have their wonderful guest Nicole. So from there, we gonna let them take it away.
Thank you, Jason. All
You're
right,
welcome.
this is Myron. I got my co-host Sterling over there. You
Yo,
feel me?
yo,
So,
you feel me?
yes, sir. We got a beautiful host, Nicole Donald-Harris, a resident of Northside Jacksonville, a native that attended and graduated the William M. Raines High School, 1993. She's married, a mother of three, a grandmother of five, and is also one third of the Divas of the Roundtable podcast, where she is known as Nikki Nicole. She has been on the podcast circuit for a couple of years, first being highlighted guest under the Tree podcast. That experience led her and a few of her old friends to start Divas of the Roundtable podcast. She hasn't slowed down since being a guest on several other shows and continues to look for avenues to network, collab with other podcasts in the future, like she's doing now with the Endless Topics podcast.
All
Welcome,
right.
welcome, Miss
Thank
Miss
you. So much.
Nicole.
Thank you, Myron. Thank you, Sterling, for having me on your show.
Yeah, we appreciate you. You already know it.
And one thing I want to tell you is I watched your first show, the very
Oh,
first show you had, because I was interested in podcasting,
I'm on
and
the
I made sure
podcast.
I watched the show to see what it's about.
okay.
Okay.
Mechanic,
Well,
So
I'm glad you
mechanic
definitely
right there.
you actually
I'm
was
on this
able to
podcast right now.
watch our transition and our growth and see how we evolved over the course of the year. It's actually been a year. We're coming up on our year, and we're about to put together. I'm about to put together actually a show that will highlight each one of our episodes and just a clip from each one of those episodes. So yeah, so
okay,
you've been there
but
from.
what started you? What made you say, you know what, I want to do a podcast?
Well, I know you're a Jaguar fan, so you can appreciate this. Like Jalen Ramsey ass said, we ain't nothing but some crab eating so and so or whatever in Jacksonville. I heard he said something
I,
along those lines.
can I say it? Can I repeat it? Oh, please,
Yeah.
that was one of my favorite quotes. But go ahead,
Okay, go
go
ahead.
ahead.
About what he said, about the
No, no,
crabs.
you said crab
Okay,
legs and hard drugs.
okay. Now, I don't do no hard drugs, but we had some hard liquor and we had some
Uh-huh.
crabs.
I
And
don't
me and my
even do
girl
crabs.
together here at the house, and we were just sitting around talking mess, just doing what we do, lots of laughs and jokes, but a lot of serious stuff. It'd be real talk, as to what we deal with, what we go through, what's happening in the city, what's happening in our lives as women. And it was actually Hammer that said she wanted to do a podcast. At that point in
Mm-hmm.
time, I had a podcast experience, being featured on, several episodes of Under the Tree podcast. So I was like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
let's do it. I reached out to the guy who has Under the Tree podcast, which is also one of our producers now. And him and his friend Mike became our
You got a
producers.
little lag, Nicole. You got a little lag. A little lag.
I
It's a little
fix
bit.
that. Okay, so I don't know how to fix that. I don't know what I'm
Hold on,
supposed to
just
do.
hold on. Go.
Man,
Just yeah. Okay, hold on. I think you back.
Miss Nicole, maybe you should have went to Reebok instead of Rams, and you'd have been able to fix that. Not just play. You know I got
That
to laugh.
look, that ain't gonna help this Xfinity unless they was giving
Hey,
out free Wi-Fi over there.
Yeah, Trojans,
But
they
yeah,
do all that.
so we actually
yeah.
we decided to do the podcast, and it was basically Hamill's idea on getting the podcast started.
Right.
But with me having a podcast experience, I kind of took the lead basically to show the girls how to do it so that we
Mm,
all could have our own time to
okay.
lead an episode, lead the show.
What you got,
That's what happened.
Sterling? I know you got a couple questions you want to ask.
My first question is, what made you choose Reigns instead of Reebok
My
back in
mom
the
is a Viking.
days?
My mom is a Viking,
My,
1972.
my mom was a Trojan, so that's all right. So we go deep down with the rivalry then.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, your mom went to that Caucasian school.
Oh, you know what? It's actually Jean Ribault, named after
It's
the
Jean
Spanish
Ribault.
colonist Jean
Yeah, it's named,
Ribault.
yeah, yeah.
See,
A
it wasn't
French,
no red.
I believe it was French, Jean Ribault. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
it wasn't no redneck. I tell you that.
no. The white folk,
What?
the white folk going now. If you recall when they just tore the building down, when they had the festivities, yeah, it was a lot of those other folks there. Yeah.
I heard, but you know that's neither here nor there. I wasn't
What?
there.
What's your next question? What's your next question?
All right. So my next question to you, how with the podcast thing, right?
Mhm.
I don't know if you heard about these guys, Gilly and Wallow,
No, I've never heard of
on what is it, $1 million worth of game.
Mm-hmm.
It's a podcast.
no.
You
I'm
never
not.
heard of. Okay, well anyway. Okay, well, it's a podcast that I was told. I believe they just signed a check to continue their podcast for millions of dollars.
Okay.
And I'm asking you, do you feel like that is a reachable concept for us with this podcast and what you're trying to do all at the same breath? Because I believe that's a good goal for everybody, you know, to make it like Gilly and Wallow made it with $1 million worth of game podcast. Shouts out to them. But do you feel like it's possible for you and I and the next podcast creators?
I'm gonna tell you like this. I think anything is possible if we had the people backing us. If we had the city
Support.
back. You know what I'm saying? It starts at home. The support start at home. If you look at any, even in hip hop and rap, most of those artists they was big in their cities first. You know what I'm saying? And then they branched out and became bigger. You know, Master P was selling stuff out of the trunk of his car. You know what I mean? So it's gonna start here. And what will it take for Jacksonville? I don't know. It's very frustrating to see for us week after week after week. You getting hundreds of views, and then you go and look on YouTube, and you only got 89 followers and subscribers. You know what I'm saying? And you keep saying like, share, subscribe. It's free. I mean, it's free. Support is free. I don't understand why the
So
city is
that's
like,
so yeah. So you think that okay? I'm gonna ask you this because I looked at you guys like I kind of I ain't gonna say measure us by because you guys started before us. So
mm-hmm,
I look at podcasts that started before us and I try to gauge what we have to what they have already done. And
yeah,
y'all have a lot of supporters on Facebook, right? Y'all got a
yeah,
lot.
on
Do
Facebook, yeah,
y'all funnel? Do y'all make sure that y'all paste everything? Because I see like when you post stuff, I see you post stuff. Y'all have like y'all little interviews. I mean y'all little, but you got to do stuff like all the time. Like it's a daily, everyday,
How you?
weekly thing, and it's
yeah,
almost like a full-time job.
yeah. And see, that's the thing. All of us have full-time jobs. One is a teacher, one driving
Right?
truck,
Yeah.
and
Right.
me,
Everybody
I'm on
got a
the
full.
vessel. Yeah, so
Right.
it's like I don't have the time to do it every day, all day, because like I told you, I say next week I'm gonna be going back on my vessel. You know,
So how
right
long you gonna
now
be gone for?
I leave for 2 weeks at a time. I'm gone
Okay.
2 weeks, I'm home 2 weeks. So it's like when I'm home those 2 weeks, normally I'm already doing the planning for the upcoming shows because I don't know if a lot of people know this. Um, I'm giving off
But
one
it
of my
take a lot.
secrets.
Okay. Yeah. Give
We
us a secret.
we actually film all of our shows in one day. So
So how many shows do y'all film in one day?
we film 3 to 4 shows a day, in on a Saturday. So
I
um,
can't get this boy to film one.
Man, we film, bro. We film. You know, this
yeah.
joker. How many
So
times here, man? This joker.
and see,
I tell
this
you.
is this is normally in like
Light
my
skinned
time on
people.
when I'm on the vessel. Y'all so crazy. When I'm on the vessel, of course I'm working. Now I'm studying for my Coast Guard exam so I can become an officer. So I'm
Mm.
on my vessel. I'm trying to network, come up with show ideas. I'm trying to reach out to those people. Once I've communicated with them, I'm trying to then communicate with the other 2 to 3 shows that
Hello.
we're going to have. See what time
Mm-hmm.
they can come in and record,
Oh my God.
set up, check with the producers, make sure that they could film that day, then reach back out to people and say, okay, hey, we got a 10 o'clock slot. Can you film at 10? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna give an hour and a half leeway to um filming. So then I schedule the next person to come in. Then it's the same rotation until everybody's rotated out. That's why sometimes you may hear on our shows, you may hear my doorbell ring. That's because the next guest is coming to my house to record. So
Okay.
everything I kind of like, I just I do rock the Cleo braids, and baby, I'm changing
Right.
wigs, we changing clothes, we changing makeup, we
But
changing
y'all,
jewelry, but it's the
but
same day.
okay. Hey, we got Mel B. Mel B. That's another one of my friends, Nicole.
Hey, Mel
Yo,
B.
yo.
Mel B. He went. What school you went to, Mel B? Because we all like we Reigns, and Reebok. What school you
Can you
went
see me?
to? Yeah. Can you hear us?
Yo, yo, yo.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear
Yes.
us? We can hear you.
I can't see you. I see Sterling.
You might have to press the button or something, one of them
Oh, here we
audios or
go.
video. There you go. He
Yeah.
back.
You got
He
to
back.
yeah.
People get ready.
Oh
Hold
Lord.
What's
on,
up?
man. Hey, hold on, man. Hold on. We got a guest in the house. This is Nicole.
Okay, okay.
This is Nicole from the
Yes, Lord.
Roundtable
I
Divas. Now
see
hold
Nicole
on.
come through,
Nicole is
Nicole.
married. Nicole is
Oh,
married, Mel B. Don't come
She
in here
from the
with wild
Housewives of
stuff.
Jacksonville,
She's
bro.
married.
okay, okay.
But hold on.
Yeah.
She's a
Let's remember this is a
podcaster, and
respectable
we're
show.
trying to ask her. We gonna get to the questions you want to ask, Mel. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I know
You
what you
sure?
want to get. You want to get to the relationship and all that type questions. I already know. We already talked about that. Hold on.
You sure
Some
you want to
cigars on here.
do
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
Hold on. What you got to say, Sterling?
I'm trying to see before y'all start. Can we
Go ahead.
smoke cigars on here?
I tell you what, you can smoke anything legal.
Yeah, it's just a cigar. Just a cigar. Just making sure.
I'm gonna put that disclaimer here on the podcast playground. We endorse
Mhm.
all things natural.
Yes, sir. And we got licenses too now. We got
There you go. There you
licenses.
go. We endorse
Okay.
anything
all things
natural and
natural?
legal. So you make
Okay.
your own disclaimer from that. Okay?
All
And
You
we
things
I see
just
you
got
legal.
winking,
to.
Mel B. I see
Okay.
you winking.
Hey,
You
Hey,
nah,
can't
we
see
ain't
me, but I
winking,
see
man.
you.
Be
But
now
we
we
gonna
really
get
do
back
Hey,
There's
on
got to
something
track.
in
start
my
let's get
getting
eye,
to
serious,
the
man.
brother. Something in
Let's
we
my
get
got to
eye.
start
serious.
to the legal marijuana card
Yes,
carrier. You
sir.
feel me?
Shouts out to the legal
Yes, sir.
marijuana.
Cause
Okay,
we
we not
out
Yeah.
we
here
hey
now.
look, this ain't a paid
Okay.
endorsement, but we gonna rock and roll forward. So I'm gonna give it back to
Okay.
the
Let's
host
do it.
with the most
Yeah.
and the podcast is quiet.
So
Let's do it.
I did with you doing all of that. What you said, doing all the
Mhm.
wigs, changing the four. What, like he said, like do you think it can get to this type of money? But you said with the support.
I
So
think with
what
support, yeah.
makes you keep what makes you keep going on without getting the support that you know you should have? What makes you say, you know what, I'm gonna keep going on anyway?
Honestly, because if you've noticed how our content has changed.
Right. I noticed that. I was gonna ask you that too because y'all were doing like questions. Now y'all have guests and with like needs of the people.
Yes, and so we're more or less serving the people. We're highlighting um, different businesses. Like we had Nicole Banks with Shop Pretty Pieces, who she has gone on. I mean, she run a very lucrative online boutique. She's gone on to, I believe, become an ambassador for MCM. We've had Gene.com, who's he's in the city. I wanted to also tell the story on how we got comedian A Train from Jacksonville onto the show.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
was in
Tell us
part.
that. I saw
Okay,
that.
so
I saw that.
we had we had Gene.com on the show. Of course, I graduated with Gene from 90, class of 93. And so I when we originally talked about having the podcast, starting the podcast, I said I want Gene on the show. Because I felt like it
Hmm.
was a two-part. I felt like he can, possibly give somebody out there a heads up that want to get into his industry. He could tell his story as to how he got started. And Gene is very popular in Jacksonville. So we could use that, as a stepping stone for us that would help get our name out there because of us doing the podcast, as well as we can highlight his journey to becoming a radio host. So we reached out to Gene, got Gene on the show, I went back to work. I was actually on my vessel. I was off watch in the bed, and my bed is located under the water. Normally, I do not have service on the vessel when I'm in my bedroom. But for
Right.
whatever reason, the phone rang that night. It rang, and it was Gene, and he was like, "Nicole, hey, what's up?" I said, "What's going on, Gene?" And he was like, "Hey, my homeboy want to be on your show." And I was like, "Who?" He was like, "Comedian A Train." And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And he was like, "Hold on a minute," and he clicked A Train onto the phone, and we started talking.
Right.
And then A Train, his wife Tracy came on, and we set up the date for A Train to record. A Train was one of those hosts that we normally do all of our shows on on a
Wait
Saturday.
on the other side.
I think we recorded him on a
Way over there.
Thursday. We did him in the middle of the week because that's what fit with his schedule, and that's how we got comedian A Train on the show. So, I mean, just going back off of A Train, it just really took off from there, and we started like looking at different medical conditions Black people were suffering from.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to highlight that because our little snippet we did on erectile dysfunction, dealing with men, that kind of
Uh-uh.
like got a little buzz, but that right there, now the erectile dysfunction thing actually was our producer's way of seeing how the other three ladies, because Hammer was still on at the time,
Uh-huh.
seeing how they responded to an impromptu question. They already knew how I respond because I had already worked with these guys before. So they knew I think quick on my feet. But they
Right.
basically that just sat out there with us. It was no preparing
Wow.
for it. It's not warned. It was basically like, how would y'all feel about dating a guy with ED? And we was
Right.
like, what? But you got to understand, you talking about women who, we're not young girls anymore. We're dealing with men our age or older. So we understand the sensitivity of it. And we understand that at this stage of the game, it's more than about sex. You know what I'm saying? It's about, having a soulmate or somebody who can help you
Yeah.
financially, emotionally, mentally. It's more than about the quick hot 10, 5, 10, 15. If you got the blue pill, maybe an hour. You know what I'm saying? It's about more than for us. I respond, I don't know if we gave them what they thought we were going to say, but I think
Uh-huh.
we gave a great response as mature women who did that little
Okay.
snippet. And I think it was a 12-minute little clip, but
Okay.
our feedback
Yeah.
from that made us really want to go into doing medical shows as well. So
Okay.
without getting paid, I'll still keep doing it because I like
Right.
doing it and I like meeting people and I like hearing their
Right.
story and I like sharing with other people.
Okay. So, so Mel, you got a question for I guess?
Dating a guy with ED, that's called a sugar daddy. Okay, that's
Not
uh,
necessarily. It depends.
hmm? Huh?
Not necessarily. That don't. I think if you was a young girl, you'll probably consider that a sugar daddy. But as a mature woman, if I'm with you and we've been together for 30 years and you develop ED, you ain't my sugar daddy. You still my mate. You still my husband, my fiance, boyfriend, or whatever you are at the time.
What?
Hopefully, we
Well,
ain't
that's
50 years.
different. When your mate get ED, it's
Mhm.
different forms of sex. You know what another form of sex is?
Eatery.
Huh?
No. No.
What is?
The
No, no,
is
no, no. It's
oral.
not.
Oral.
No, no.
No.
You know what another form of sex is?
What is your other form of sex, Mel?
Bacon, gravy. Can you cook? That's
Yeah,
sex to a man. Neck
yeah,
bones and lima beans.
of course.
Now,
So
now,
I
now,
mean,
is
as you
that
get
sex or what?
older,
Now, Mel,
the
is
I
that
sex,
think,
sex or foreplay? Is
yeah,
that
I
that's
sex or
mean, because
sex.
foreplay?
A
at
woman
the
with
end
a plate. You give a
at the
man,
end of
listen
the
to
day,
me.
at the end of the day, if it's working or not, she should be providing all of that stuff to her man.
I know that's
Honestly.
right.
Well, that's not necessarily true now,
No,
because
no,
we can get
no,
Hold on,
no.
into
Don't
man.
this.
Hold
simp.
on,
Don't
man. You
simp
get
now.
you get you
Here
get
on the
you get one
podcast
question.
playground, we do not accept simps and we do not
What?
accept soft men. I'm just
Who's
saying.
simping? Who's simping?
If you talk about your lady ain't supposed to be cooking and you providing the lifestyle in which she wants,
Who said that?
Only thing you getting out of it is to provide a lifestyle, and you ain't getting nothing. You like my cousin, you
No, he's
cooking,
saying
you
that's what
cleaning.
we don't perpetuate. He just
Yeah,
he ain't
yeah, we
saying
don't
nobody
perpetuate
saying.
that. We leave that to the new lady boys.
I don't understand. I'm lost.
Me too. Back to the show.
Okay, we can get into that relationship because the producer just said something soft and hard. During the course of your life, you ready for this?
Okay.
You go through trauma that will make your spirit soft. You can have a masculine spirit, or you can have a feminine spirit. The world now wants the men to have a feminine spirit and want the women to have a masculine spirit. If you argue with your man, you have a masculine spirit because women are supposed to be silent and graceful, correct?
Incorrect. But go
No,
ahead.
not. I
Okay,
don't think they're supposed to be
incorrect.
silent and
Incorrect.
graceful.
But pop your stuff, brother. Go ahead on.
Okay, see. Only thing that's gonna like a if I'm incorrect, that's a masculine spirit coming up, arguing. Women are
Not,
No,
supposed to be.
that's
Listen
but
to
see,
me.
hold on. Okay. Mm-mm.
Let's go.
Cause see,
yeah,
this problem
we ain't
right
come
there.
on here to argue, man. We came on
No,
here to
I'm
get
No,
not
some
no,
arguing.
clarity.
I
we're not.
want
We
See,
her.
we're
ain't
not.
I
come here to
want
That's
her.
the
argue.
point.
To
That's the point that I want to make. He said women shouldn't be arguing with the man, and they should
Right.
be silent. Your woman can speak and not be arguing. Your woman can speak. Let me tell you, some of the greatest men in history had a woman on their side that was advising and counseling her husband. And at the end of the day, I don't argue
Like
with my
Loretta
husband.
Scott King,
Oh,
like Betty
yeah, exactly.
Shabazz. But
They were not
but
women that
but
Let
argued,
her
but
talk.
don't
Let her
think that they
talk,
stay.
man. Let her talk, bro.
They were not women who argue, but don't think they stay silent. But at the end of the day, like I tell any, I cook, I clean. My husband don't. I'm on a vessel going 2 weeks. When I come home, I cook for them 2 weeks. I clean for them 2 weeks. I wash his clothes. I fold them up. I do all of that. But at the end of the day, it's understood that my opinion matters, and my husband know I'm gonna speak on certain things. I'm not a silent partner. This ain't no Fortune 500
mhm.
company where I'm just putting money into this business and I'm the silent partner. I'm a vocal partner, but I will not argue with my husband, nor do I talk down on my husband in front of others. But me and my husband do have conversations, and he understands that he is the head, but I am the neck. He don't move without me.
And preach.
Okay.
So
Silent
y'all,
meaning not argumentative, not loud. Okay. Maybe silent is the wrong word.
oh,
How
okay,
about
okay,
not argumentative? Okay.
okay. I can get with that.
Okay.
I, I'm not here to
Okay.
argue with you. I don't want the masculinity to come out. I'm just saying
So,
nowadays
and
women are taught to
Masculinity.
be, yes. Nowadays women are taught to be masculine. They're taught to be independent,
But y'all good. I'm just you can't
right?
see y'all facing this way. I just let you know.
They're taught to be
No,
independent.
I
They're
don't think
taught they don't need a man. But women do need
no.
men. Men need women. Women
This
need men.
and this is one of the things that we've talked about on our show. My gripe with social media and these different platforms is people see a certain amount of something and take that as gospel that that's how everybody is being taught. That's not true. That's not how everybody is being taught. So it's not today's women, it's certain women are being taught certain things. And just like you saying, past trauma, I think past neglects and people being neglected, put down, let down, not being held up. Because at the same time, when you point your finger at somebody, you got to look at and see that fingers point back at yourself. We all got
yeah,
to be held accountable for the choices that we've made. Some of these men out here that feels jaded has made bad choices. And I wanted to comment even on that with Myron and Sterling, even in their situations with their baby mothers, we have to take some responsibility for the decisions and the choices that we made. when we meet
Okay.
certain people. And I have to do the same thing as well. I had to do the same thing as well. So I'm not telling nobody to do nothing that I'm not willing to do for myself. Because at the end of the day, I've seen red flags and ninjas, and I still proceeded forward. So when I touched that stove and got burnt, I ain't have nobody to blame but myself. So we need to stop perpetuating that this thing
Right.
is universal, that everybody is on this type of time. That's not true. You have women that wear pants, but it's still very much feminine. I wear steel toe boots and coveralls at work. I'm a deckhand on a tugboat, chipping and painting and throwing lines, brother. But I am very feminine when it comes to my man. So that masculine energy, yes, I do have to have masculine energy because I'm in a masculine type of field. But when it comes
Yeah.
to husband, let me tell you something. My husband can't tell you the last time he cut his toenails or fingernails. I do all of that in
And see,
2025.
and see, you are a rare woman, and I'm gonna say that
Very,
for sure.
very much so. But I don't think I'm a unicorn. I don't think I'm the only one out there. But I think
Not
some
you.
people
I ain't gonna say you
choose
the only
to
one,
do
but
that.
I just say you rare. You rare.
Yes, very.
You very rare because not only was you able to deal with Mel just then, because I'm pretty sure, you know what I mean. You didn't had to deal with that at the job. You know what I mean. But
Yes,
doing what you do because it's the type of industry that it is. You
yes.
understand
But
what I'm
it's
saying?
not dealing. It's
Hold
gaining
on, man. Hold on,
understanding.
man. Hold on,
We here
man. Hold on.
to
Hold on, man.
we.
Man, hold on. Hold on, man. Yeah. Hold on. So, so what I'm trying to say to you is like, I saw your first show.
Mm-hmm.
Your first show when you did the where the lady had all the stories and on TikTok, right?
Uh-huh.
And
The
y'all
narcissist,
had what was the lady name who had all the episodes and
Risa
y'all was like
Risa.
right and all y'all had y'all C for Tifa moment that y'all was speaking on.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Can you explain like kind of that what what y'all were trying to bring to light there?
Well, basically, it wasn't even up there bringing to light on for that particular show. That was our first show, and we basically was riding the wave of the Risa Tisa thing of the hype that she had at the
Mm-hmm.
time on social media. Because if you remember, she had millions and millions
Mm-hmm.
of views and all of that stuff.
Views.
Basically, like it was basically like taking advantage of the situation that was going on at that time. We actually called it at the
Okay.
tail end of it, but that's the only reason why we did that show was basically because we all in that moment could see, like I saw red comments on social media. A lot of people was talking smack about her and talking down on her. But I said if people was to step out of their own ego, they could see that they too have dealt probably with a narcissistic person and has probably took a little bit more stuff in their past that they probably would take now. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of things they
Right.
probably went with now that they probably dealt with in the past. And we all kind of had that I am Risa Tisa too. You know, that's why the shirt
Right.
said hashtag I am Risa Tisa, because we all could identify with dealing with the narcissistic. For in our case, it was man. And
Right.
like I said
Right.
before, some of my guy friends, oh, y'all male bashing. Well, I can't tell you about dating a narcissistic woman because I'm not gay. I haven't been with a
Yeah.
woman. So I can't tell you that. But I can tell you it is narcissistic women out there. And I said that clearly on
Right.
that show. But I can't speak on dating a narcissistic woman because I don't date women.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was trying to get to. I was like, I noticed it, and I'm like, well, I wonder why they went on that. You know what I mean? Like, what was that? Like, Sterling, you got
Yeah.
a question? We can't hear
All right,
you.
yeah. Host
Okay.
just got me off mute. What's
Okay.
happening?
Go
All
ahead.
right, so Miss Nicole, I know this
Uh-huh.
probably off subject. It's off subject, but it's an important question.
Yes.
What if you find as a man all right, let me just reverse it in your case, right? In your case, I'm gonna say just to help
Mm-hmm.
you out to think about this.
Okay.
Say you have a man in your life
Mm-hmm.
and you probably love them dearly. They do a lot for you. They're good people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna tell you straight up, it's not my girl that I'm talking about, but it's an ex. It's an ex,
Okay.
maybe, possibly.
Okay.
Who knows? But just maybe, she got great hygiene, or he in your case, but but she got she got a coochie smell. Okay, I don't know how to word it in reverse for a man, but say they got bad breath,
Okay.
right? And they never want to brush their teeth. And even if you tell them maybe that it's got stank breath and they don't want to do nothing about it, how would you feel as talking to your brother and saying, help him explain that this woman might need to wash her low region, and she's a nice girl, good girl, but she got that issue? How would you want your brother to explain that?
Well, to be honest with you,
I
if
saw
she
the I
older,
saw the show on the pH balance.
if she older than a young girl, she should know how to take care of that thing. And also too, if he is intimate with her or dating her and he can't step to her man to woman and let her know what the deal is, and she accept that maybe she needs some outside help and she want to do something about it, then he need to leave her alone. You
For
need to leave
sure.
her alone. You know what I'm saying? Because something ain't right, either mentally or physically. Because I couldn't imagine it's already a be bad if another female tell you that she smell you. But if
Mm,
your man tell you
mm,
that
mm.
and you don't do nothing about it, I mean, something
Okay.
wrong with him. Be
Do,
honest
Yeah.
do,
with
do
you.
you do you have any questions for Sterling? I thought you might have had a question for Sterling or
For
me.
Sterling,
For
Yeah,
anybody,
shoot.
anybody here, anybody. Do
Whoever,
you
oh,
have
whoever
any
got
questions?
I already came. I already asked Sterling about this thing
that.
here about the.
But that was
I
before the
mean, you
scent. So
ask him
you
again.
I ain't
As
going we
as
ain't going in depth. What was your question anyway? Because
Well,
I forgot.
hold
I
on one
I
second.
spoke sometimes.
Hey, Myron, go ahead and do that shout out for that young lady who is trying to raise money for her school's bake sale so she can go to
Oh,
Washington. Go ahead and do that shout out for me real quick. We're gonna try to help young ladies
where's
as well
that?
as young boys with their endeavors. They're gonna be at the art walk tonight. Take it away, Myron.
Come on with it.
Yeah, this is who is it? See you tonight at the Thriftnik at Art Walk. We will be there with the cake. Do you know a teen who needs a free prom dress? Tag them. Thrifting at the Art Walk is not just shopping experience; it's a community clothing swap. Bring a gala or promo dress to donate and help someone's night unforgettable. Some vendors will have prom attire too. See you later today. Make magic happen. Thrifting at the Art Walk tonight. So,
right.
yeah, you got any questions? You got any questions for Cause I don't want to. I got a lot of questions, but I don't want to hog up all the time. I want other people to be able to ask questions because we don't
Yeah.
never have a female on here, and I would enjoy it if you come on here anytime. You can come on here anytime. You could bring your other co-hosts.
Oh
This
yes.
this 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 where you just get loose at. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
ain't got to be, you
It
know,
is. You are
recording and
always
all. You can
welcome.
just talk how you want to talk here,
Okay.
and
No
this
worries.
just
I definitely will put
you
y'all
know what I
down.
mean? And we enjoy you being here because some of these questions we can't bounce off nobody. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just us men talking
And you
about it.
know,
And
and like I said, if y'all saw Myron, you probably saw the Apollo and Athena show we did when we did the mixed panel. We had men up there. Did you
yeah,
see that
that's what I
show?
wanted to ask you. I wanted to ask you like y'all did certain different things. I think y'all went to a place where y'all had people come and see the event live.
Yes. Yes. So we actually talked about this while Hammer was still there. We actually came up with the idea of doing a mixed panel show. That way we could, because it was so many men thinking this was a female podcast, thinking we was talking about men, and a lot of times in our comments they were saying, oh, y'all needed a male perspective, y'all needed a male perspective. And I'm like, look, it's the divas of the round table. We don't have men co-hosts, but we can have guests come on and maybe
Yes.
address certain topics. So I told him, I said, well, let's just do a mixed panel show. And we decided to bring Kitty back, and it was us three ladies and Kitty. We were the females, and we had three more guys come on, and
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a good show. It was a great show, actually. My husband's son, daughter-in-law, my daughter, everybody was in the audience. We had a lot of people in the building that night, and I thought it was a good show that we could have an open dialogue between men and women around the same age, talk about things, different topics. We actually talked about um which that one we had questions in a fishbowl, and we was
Right.
pulling out. And I remember one of them that kind of caused a little, was they said, "What is something that you thought about the opposite sex? What was a misconception you thought about the opposite sex?" And
Mm.
I said that just because somebody has a penis, we feel like they can lead. And everybody was like, "What?" And I said, just because you are a man or a male does not mean you are a leader. Just like
Right.
I kind of get a kick out of, which I know it's a saying, when everybody say, "Oh, y'all kings and queens." Everybody, if you look at a kingdom, it's one king, one queen. That's not saying that you can't call your mom or your daughter queens and kings, but people take this term so literally. And I'm like, everybody can't be a leader, because if you only had leaders, then you would have no followers.
Mm.
And the fact of the matter is that people assume, and as women, because the women agreed with me and the men was
Mm-hmm.
looking all crazy, thinking that they are leaders, when the women agreed and said, yes, we have given our all to some men, the wrong men, and we thought that they could lead us in our relationship, in our marriage, in our lives, with our children or whatever. And they just did not contain the knowledge and the know-how to be leaders. You can't, like, you drop somebody into, you can't just pick a person up and drop them into the army in front of a whole squadron and think they're gonna be a commander or a leader. You know what I'm saying? Those people are sometimes, some very rarely are they just built natural leaders, but a lot of people are taught how to lead. And if you have a young man that's brought up in a household that hasn't been taught how to lead, especially lead properly, he's not a leader. He can't lead you.
You
And I
just you
think
just you just segue into my next question. Thank you. Oh, I love that. Thank you. I'm gonna ask this question, and then when I ask this question, Mel, you can talk after she answers. Um, we had a topic. Our topic, and you just led right into it. Can a female raise a man? Can a woman raise a man?
I
And
don't think I don't think properly, not 100% properly. I think he's going to be lacking something, because it's certain things about being a man I just can't show my sons. It's certain things that needs to be instilled in him that me as a woman, no matter how hard I try, I can't instill those things in him, because unlike Mel was trying to hint at, all women don't have that masculine energy. And even if we do, it's still not a genuine masculine energy. It's something that we've had to adapt to because of our surroundings. That's just, a woman is a nurturer. A woman is a caregiver. That's what's naturally in us. We're not hunter
mhm.
gatherer protectors. That's not naturally our thing. We're the
So
ones
you
that,
can't teach a man how to provide and protect,
you
correct?
could teach them how to provide and protect to an extent, but I don't feel like they would have all of, I think they would still have traces of that feminine energy from their
Yep,
mother.
of
I
course.
think they would still have residuals of that feminine energy transferred from mother to son.
Okay. Go
Yeah.
ahead, man.
Am I unmuted?
Yep.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
I'm a man of a certain age.
Hmm.
I grew up in a single parent household. Mother, grandmother
Hmm.
taught me how to be a man. You know how they did that? They say, Mel, it's the weekend. Go outside and cut the grass. Mel, My car need washing. Mel, go up to Pick and Save and get me some flour. You have to give a man responsibilities. That's how you teach a man how to be a man. See, you looking at the male, female, physical aspect. Now, what you don't do is when you using the bathroom, your little boy don't come in the bathroom and see you peeing sitting down. You got to teach him to pee standing up.
That's the physical attributes.
When
But
the
what you
women,
just said,
when
what you
listen to
just
me,
said
sister, I let you talk now. You gotta let
okay,
me talk. Okay? They
go
put
ahead.
me
Go
on
ahead.
mute to
Let me
let
take
you
some
talk.
notes.
Okay,
Let me take some
it's
notes
my
on this.
turn. It's my turn. Okay,
Shopping.
and I'm gonna let you speak after me. Okay.
Okay.
Hello.
I
Am I
hear you.
muted?
I'm taking notes. Go ahead.
My mama signed me up to go to the military at 17. She said, Mel, you got to get out of this community. I was raised in Lackawanna, Upper Lenox, and McDuff. My friends gave me that physical part of manhood, but my mama gave me responsibilities. My grandma gave me responsibilities. Responsibilities make a man feel needed. That's why you, as a woman, using your feminine spirit, you make your husband feel needed so he can go out and kill something and drag it home. When y'all sitting in front of that Thanksgiving Day dinner that he bought, he proud to see his family slicing that turkey, eating them greens and dressing and macaroni and cheese. That's what he feel he did. But the woman in silence knows that she inputted that responsibility in that man. When she say, honey, I need my car washed, I need my car clean, while that bacon cooking in the morning, that give that man that energy to say, I'm gonna take care of this woman. This is my woman. That give them that man part. You understand what I'm saying, sister?
No, actually, I
Okay,
don't.
okay, I
Can,
understand
oh, can I interject? Can I interject? Can I
Go ahead.
interject?
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
going to buy flour from Pick and Save, cutting the yard, and what was the other thing? What was the other thing you said that your mama done
Washing
did?
cars,
Washing cars
making up your bed.
was all things that I was taught by my mom and dad, as well as putting on brakes, alternator starters, the brake pads in the front, shoes in the back,
Damn.
check spark
You
plug,
you had
pull
no brothers? You had no
back.
brothers?
My brother was not in the house with me. My brother was from another mother. But
Oh, okay.
in
Okay.
my house, I was
Now
taught all
you
of
get
that because
something.
I wanted to learn that things, and those things are not what makes a man. It makes a responsible person because girls, me and my sister was cutting the grass with my mama in our single parent household, and we was going up to Winn-Dixie. We was taking our clothes on the our big blankets on the front of the bicycle up to the laundromat in Sherwood Plaza to wash them in the corn machine. We was up buying flour at the Pick and Save at Sutel because we lived in Sherwood. So those what make a responsible person, not necessarily a man. However, and then like you saying about the man dragging the food, obviously you didn't watch the podcast that we've done because especially the Athena and Apollo show, because everybody know I make 6 figures a year and my husband don't even touch that. I bring home the bacon, but my husband is still the head of our household. So he ain't slaughtering shit and bringing it to the table. I slaughter it and bring it to the table, but I still cook it for my husband and serve him first. So as I said before, those aren't the things that make you a man. And your
And
mama
these
and
and,
your
and
grandmama
these and these the type guests I'm gonna
mama
always
and
bring on
grandma made
here.
you responsible. They didn't make you a
I'm gonna
So
man.
always yeah. I'm hold on, Mel. Wait.
so
Wait,
your
Mel,
father
Mel,
divorced
Mel,
your mother.
Mel, Mel, Mel. Chill. Hold on.
I'm just asking a question, sir.
My
Yeah,
mother,
chill
no,
out.
my father didn't divorce my mama. My mama divorced my father because he was an adulterer.
But that ain't we ain't even that don't
Yeah, we
even
ain't even
get to what
know
we
that.
talk
But
about.
I mean,
Like
I'm just
what
giving
are
little
we?
bits and pieces
Yeah, but
about, but
Mel.
that's the things that's how people get their ideology confused and think that it's the norm. The norm is I know I don't walk in a regular shoe like most women do. what I'm saying is the money, the this, the that don't make you a man. It don't make you a leader. You know what I'm saying? None of those
I said
things. If that's
nothing
the
about
case,
money. I said nothing about money. A man don't care nothing about how much money a woman make. I
I
could
didn't
care
say
less
you,
about how much money my woman
ma'am.
make. That don't
Me,
make
sir.
me.
I'm not talking about you. I said the general consensus. I'm talking about as whole because I see women on a daily talk about what a man needs to make and bring to the table to be this and that, and that's not true. You can have a man that makes six figures a year and going upside your head. That make him more of a man because he makes six figures a year.
Well,
That makes him less of a man because he going upside your head. So I'm not
we're
necessarily
not
talking about
talking
you.
about abusive relationships.
But what I'm talking about, I know we're not talking about that now, but I'm talking about the whole gist of the misconceptions of
We're
what it
talking
takes
about
to have
But
can a
but
woman
hey Mel,
make
hold
a
on for me one
man?
second.
this
Okay,
man
Mel,
won't
hold on
even
for me
say
one second. Let's rock and roll like this. Let's
this man won't
agree.
even
Let's agree that
Now,
one, a man a man can't build a woman because he's never been one, and a woman can't build a man because she's never been one. There are
correct.
things as a father with two daughters, there's things that I'm never gonna be able to show my daughters. Plus, there's things I just don't ever want to fucking know. Let me tell you,
But
just
well,
don't want to know.
hold
as a
on.
father,
But hold on, Mel.
what
Mel,
you
Mel,
I'm
Mel,
gonna let you
Mel,
have this
Mel, just
because
chill
then I
out.
gotta wrap it up for my guests. Because right now I'm
Yeah,
sitting in the
yeah,
mouth of hell
yeah,
over
yeah,
here.
yeah. He in
I'm
the
just
hot.
trying not to sweat.
Nicole,
But
Nicole, we
as
want
a
to know
father,
if y'all want to come on as a guest as on our real podcast.
please come back. Please,
Yes,
please
yes.
come back.
And do you and you know you can invite
if
us
you
too. You know, however, we need to get together and do this more often
Please invite me.
with more women. So
I
Listen,
Yes.
would look, I would definitely say on both parties, ladies and gents, uh, y'all have made the podcast playground one hell of a playground today. Let me go ahead and throw that out there. And
Volatility.
I definitely want to thank each and every one of you for coming and playing on this playground because without you guys, there would be no playground. And thank you as well for your female view into a right nor wrong look of what it's like to be on the opposite side of that fence because nobody else on this panel knows what it's like to be raised as female.
thank
So
you.
we can't really speak on the female experience. We can see it. We know what it's like to date it. I know what it's like to wake up and have them say stuff to me, but I don't want that side of that fence because I love my women.
I
So
love them too.
with
me
I
that
too.
being
love him
said,
too.
uh,
I love y'all. Love y'all sisters. My sisters.
that's what I'm
Straight
saying.
up.
We
And with
love
that
you,
being said,
Nicole.
Nicole, if
Yeah,
you
we
and
do.
your podcast would ever like to
Hold on.
be on this
I want to
playground,
know if she want to give a shout out before she might want to give a shout out to somebody
well,
before
hold
she
on.
goes.
I'm a letter. But if Nicole, if you and your podcast would ever love to be on here and would like to do the same thing, but with different folks and different folks, you let me know. You hit us up. You have your producer hit me up. Don't matter either way, and we will have you back on this playground to play however you would choose to play.
All right, that sounds good.
So if
That's
you would
what's
like
up.
to give a shout out to anybody, your podcast friends, anybody out here on the podcast, go
I
for it.
want to I want to give a shout out first off to my two co-hosts, Ladybug and Spicy Red, that's doing their thing. I want to give a shout out to Motivated Minds 628. That's my boy C Hess. He's doing his thing, a lot of pro black stuff. He's uplifting the black community. I want to give a shout out to Under the Tree podcast. They was ones that gave me my first start. Bottom of the Bottle podcast. I'm on there quite a bit. And also Self Made Taste Better Productions. That's my producers, my two producers, Mike Batiste and Leander Palmer. I want to give all those guys a shout out, man.
Well,
That's what's up.
always. Thank you. So
That's
Mel
what's
B,
up.
I'm gonna move you to the limelight, sir, so you can chit chat. But your chit chat's gonna be the who you want to give a shout out to, so I
Who
can
you
get out
want to
of this
give a
mouth.
shout out to, Mel
Yeah,
B?
so I can get out of
Shout
this
out to
mouth of
my
hell over
sister
here because I'm
right there.
sweating like I'm in a
Shout out
sauna.
to my sister. Much love. No need to sweat. That's what we here for. A little discussion, a little lively discussion, a little volatility that creates vitality, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
shout out to my sisters. I love my sisters. No harm,
All right,
just
and
discussion, understanding from my
Nicole.
aspect and from hers.
And we thank you for your aspect. We do.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, Mr. Sterling, would you like when I'm gonna pull Mr. Sterling up to the forefront? I'm gonna see if he'd like to give a shout out to anybody out there watching.
Man, I want to give a shout out to everybody who made it possible out there in this here social media and all this YouTube land and all of that. Thank y'all for watching. You feel me? May y'all continue to stay blessed. And appreciate everybody for joining this show. Everybody who on here and everybody who listen, watching, and all that.
That's a beautiful thing. All right, Myron, I'm gonna slide you back on in, sir. You want to give a
Okay.
shout out to anybody
Yeah, I
out
want
there
to thank
listening and watching?
my schoolmate Nicole for coming on here and
Right.
blessing us with your presence.
I'm just
And
gonna
I
say the
want
class of '93 Paxton is better, but I'm not gonna throw that out there too hard. Just gonna lay that
Okay,
to
alone right
yeah,
Paxton,
there.
I see you.
I'm
Okay.
but
just saying, the marching Eagles was doing it. Okay.
Yeah,
no,
y'all
we don't see them. We don't see them.
Mhm.
But hey,
with the
hey, I
band.
want to thank
Yes,
a
ma'am.
shout out to everybody who made the podcast, Mel B, Sterling, everybody, Jason, everybody behind the scenes. You know, just I want to keep this going. I want to keep this energy going. We just want to uplift other people and bring them on. You know, for a little discussion, a little entertainment. But it's all about uplifting others. You know, we want to uplift her. Maybe she can uplift another podcast, and each one teach one. We keep this thing going on. You know what I mean? That's all this about right now. So thank y'all for coming, and maybe y'all subscribe to give your the podcast again, Nicole.
Divas of the
What's
Roundtable podcast. We're Divas Roundtable podcast on YouTube, Roundtable Divas on Instagram, and Divas Roundtable on TikTok.
oh, okay, yeah. So we want to shout them out, and we want to shout out Endless Topics, Two Sailors in the Drink, and we out.
All
All
right.
right, you heard it here first. You heard it here last. Thank you all for coming to the playground, and as he said, we're out.